On today's Moving the Chains, Jerel, a very fun interview with head coach Zak Theus, the new head man of the Spartanburg Christian Academy Warriors.
Yeah, good to catch up with Coach Theus today. Very gracious with his time and meeting with us. He's super excited about this opportunity, and it was cool to kind of get with him and share what his plans are for the future. He's been successful these last few years, down there at Calhoun Falls. So it was great to see what he's going to do and, tackling this new adventure at Spartanburg Christian.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. Once again, head coach Zak Theus, the Spartanburg Christian Academy Warriors, today on Moving the Chains. Follow us on YouTube at Movin Chains. That's MOVINCHAINS.
Get ready for the ultimate South Carolina high school football experience with Movin The Chains. From previews to recaps, we've got you covered. Dive into our expert preview shows, predicting winners and sharing insights. Then join us post-game for the thrilling recaps, exclusive interviews, and highlights you won't find anywhere else. Plus, connect with fellow fans on our Friday night spaces on Twitter/X. No one covers South Carolina high school football like us. Join us at Movin Chains on all social media platforms and visit movinchains.com today.
Welcome into Moving the Chains, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. I'm Kevin Thomas alongside Jerel Hendricks. Got a great interview today, a very special guest, the new head coach of the Spartanburg Christian Warriors, Zak Theus. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank y'all for having me today.
Well, man, we appreciate your time. We really do. If this is you guys' first time tuning in, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter/X, Instagram, YouTube, and more at Movin Chains, our website, movinchains.com, and our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. Coach Theus was hired in March. He has been the head coach of Calhoun Falls Charter for the past 4 seasons. Prior, he spent time at Palmetto High School. Coach, let's start with that. What's that transition been like, going from the public school ranks over to SCISA and kind of doing both jobs there for a little while, it sounds like?
Yeah, as I was saying earlier, definitely really different cultures, just all the way around. Calhoun Falls, 1A school, very small environment. And it was probably one of the greatest opportunities I've ever been given, for many reasons. Helped me as a coach for sure, taught me patience. If anything, that was one of the main things that taught me. But then also it helped me as a man because I actually got saved while I was there. So that kind of is one of the reasons why I slowly worked towards being at SCA, and why it was so appealing to me and my family. But yeah, definitely different. I get here, and the one thing that I immediately from the get-go, and one of the things is the reason why I chose it was just so how hungry everybody was for football to be good. And that's something that I've wanted for a while, to be a part of something like that. And just all of us being on the same mission, and trying to get these kids prepared for life, in every aspect of life. And, just from the headmaster down, I mean, they're begging for football to be good. And I'm all for it. So we're going to see what we can do.
Coach, before we get into the program and your team and things like that, I want to know a little bit about you, your background. So how'd you get started in the coaching profession? Is it something that you always planned to do? And is it like us, like we in high school fell in love with Friday Night Lights or before playing back in the day?
Man, that's a good question, because it actually took me till probably my sophomore year of college to really know what I wanted to do. So I went to Newberry College after being at Malden High School, played under Doug Shaw, and that's going to be relevant here in a few minutes. But once I graduated in 2015, looking for a job, and he's the first person I called. And he said, we just had a coach leave. We have offensive line opening. Definitely can be something to look into. And I said, well, I have my teaching degree as well. He said, well, we don't have one of those, but we do have a middle school ISS position. And enough said. So I did that for a year and then transitioned into social studies. But I was at Palmetto for 6 years. And Coach Shaw means a lot to me. He's given me a ton of opportunities. Him and Lee Taylor, who's his cousin, they are very big in my life. I consider them like dads, and they've really helped me kind of mold me into a good coach. And so while I was at Palmetto, I tried to do as much as I could to prepare myself, because once I got into the coaching, one thing I always wanted to be was a head coach. And so he let me be his assistant AD for a few years. I was the head strength coach, head JV football. I tried to get my hands in anything I could, just to prepare me. And, Lee Taylor actually was the guy who messaged me and let me know about Calhoun Falls. He knew how hungry I was to be a head coach. And, sometimes you just know that you need a change, and, it's probably best for you as well as a professional. And so, that's something I went into, and I reached out to the principal at the time, and he, it just worked out. And I get there, and it was nothing like I expected. It was definitely a transition. It was something that, I needed because, as a 29-year-old head coach at the time, I'm sitting here thinking I can do anything. And I was rudely awakened because, at that time in 1A, Christchurch, St. Joe's, and Southside Christian were in our region. And we had to play them back-to-back weeks. So, and the first day on the job, I had 2 kids show up to summer weights. So, I mean, it was just, wow. And so, my main thing was trying to get kids out and trying to get them interested. And I'm really big on relationships. I'm really big on, welcoming them into my family and showing them who I am. And it really paid off. I love those kids to death to this day. And still, I speak to them daily. And, we got numbers up from, I think my first year we had 16 kids. And at one point we had 27 on the team, which at Calhoun Falls, 27 kids is a lot of kids. And, that was something that I'm really proud of. And, it was just really nice to see success being defined in a different way because, you can say, we only won 8-9 games in my 4 years there. But if you really knew what it took to get those 8 and 9 wins, that's the success in itself. And seeing those kids grow into really good young men, that's been special for me. And like I said, Greenwood Christian's coach, Coach Rooney, he was actually the guy that told me about Spartanburg Christian because we've kind of become friends over the years. And, like I said, I knew that I wanted to be around people that were strong Christian faith, me trying to grow in that, and my family trying to grow in that as well. And just walking in the door, seeing how bad they wanted it. It was like seeing myself and a whole bunch of different people. And I was like, man, I need this real bad. And so here we are.
Well, Coach, one key to success always is having a good staff around you. How is that shaping up for you? Do you have most of those spots filled? Who are some guys you might want to, shout out here on the program today for us?
Oh, I think I might have to shout out all of them because
come on, we'll do it.
One thing that I was very grateful about is having a coaching staff because, having 1 or 2 coaches at my previous stop was nice, but I know as well as anybody it takes an army to be successful, and I knew that I wanted to try to get as many coaches, good people involved in the program that were hungry, like I talked about. And just had passion and energy. And I showed up and I had 4 guys already hungry and, young guys, eager guys, Connor McDonald, who is my offense coordinator. He's a young guy, but man, he's going to be somebody special. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in the future. Ryan Wernquist, who's my defense coordinator, man knows X's and O's like, I don't even know. He's good at it. And then, we got a young strength coach that worked at Liberty as a GA, and Blake Wilson. He's up and coming. He is a 22-year-old, and he is got more energy than I know what to do with. And then our middle school program, has been very successful. And that's Winfield Jenkins, who's over that. He's worked at Burns for a couple of years prior, and he's really just energetic and all about the kids. And that was the main thing that all 4 of them brought is those kids love them, and that immediately got respect from them when I told them that those are my guys. But with that being said, I also wanted to bring in some guys that I felt comfortable with, and with that, I reached out to a guy that I coached my first year coaching football at Palmetto. And then actually he worked with me for a year at Palmetto before I left, and reached out to him, and he was an immediate yes. And that's Jerel Owens, not the wide receiver, but we still love him. And then actually the next guy just so happened very recent. I wanted one more person on staff and kind of somebody that I'd worked with prior, and another kid that I worked with at Palmetto, when we were successful, was Tyson Owens, his younger brother. And so he's with us now, and it's just nice because those guys know exactly, who I am as a person, and they know what I want to do with this program. And I think when I told their mother that I was hiring both of them, she is ecstatic.
Love that, Coach. This is the part of the show where we get to peel back the curtain a little bit, and we get to tell your fans there, the students, your community there, what you plan on doing, and some of your competitors as well, offensively and defensively. So, what plans do you have, schematically, philosophy-wise, on offense and defense this year?
So my main thing is we have to be aggressive. We have to be fundamentally sound. I'm a big person who we have to be good at tackling. And that's something that I've been a part of teams that aren't good tackling teams, and I've also, coached against them. And, that is one of the biggest downfalls for a team. And so I always preach the little things. So what you're going to see with this program is, we are going to be a good special teams team. And that is, I remember when I was at Palmetto, we lost a region title because of special teams. And that still haunts me years later. So, I pride myself on trying to make special teams a big deal. Offensively, Spartanburg Christian, I think as long as they've been around in 14 years, they've prided themselves on being a run first team and just kind of, trying to tough it out with the run game, chew clock. And, I'm not that way at all.
Yeah.
I like to sling it around. And luckily, Connor McDonald, my OC, he feels the same way. So we have incorporated a spread in this team into our offense with different concepts out of it. But we have two very good running backs. And with that being said, one of our running backs is also one of our quarterbacks, who is a really good quarterback. But we're excited to see what he does in this. And we just have so many weapons at receiver, and these kids have just been so eager to play receiver and get the ball. And it's exciting to see them enjoying themselves with that offense. And defensively, we're a 3-4 team, and, just basic, fundamentally sound defense.
Coach, you mentioned earlier, Doug Shaw and Lee Taylor, a couple guys that really helps you out. Who are some other coaches maybe that, you maybe model your style after? Maybe you hadn't even met them, maybe you just watch them on YouTube or TV, but who are some guys you like to kind of pick things from, and even maybe some tactical stuff kind of here down the line?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't really agree with some of his stuff he does from a personal level, but, I love watching Lane Kiffin run an offense. It's so fun. And I think when I was at Calhoun Falls and I was having to try to pick and choose different things to do, I just would sit there and watch a game of his and, kind of manipulate it to what we could do. And I think he would probably offensively be the one I'd say I watch the most and kind of try to, manipulate my offense around.
Coach, this part of the Movin The Chains network is focused on the Jimmies and Joes, not the X's and O's. So we got to know about the, special guys you kind of identified early on, maybe produced for you for the team last year, or maybe some guys that you've identified early in the spring and summer that really can make some contributions for your team.
Well, I'll go ahead and say, just from the spring practice that I got to be around these kids, man, this is such a good group of kids. From top to bottom, I'm so excited to work with kids like this. My senior class, the moment I met them, you could see it in their eyes. They're just so hungry. And there's so many good ones that I'll talk about in that group in particular. But one thing that stood out to me is the freshman class that we have coming up. They're going to be special. We have some really, really talented receivers in that group. that I'm looking forward to seeing grow over the year and into the future. But I say players to watch. I already kind of mentioned him. His name's Noah Kafel. He was having a great season last year and got injured, broke his collarbone. He's sort of that Swiss Army knife kid. We found out he can actually catch a ball pretty good too. He's been doing well at that, at the 7-on-7s, but he's a heck of a running back and he's a heck of a leader. He's had to battle some injuries just since I've known him, and there's not many kids that fight through stuff like that kid has, and that means the world to me, and it just reflects his leadership qualities as well. Another young man is Jacob Wiley, who is also the other running back, and he's also one of our linebackers. Kid can run the ball, and he also can catch, and he's a special one. Doesn't say much, but definitely leads by example. Then probably the one that I think a lot of people are going to learn about this year. He's about 6'3", 200 pounds, plays wide receiver. Man, he can catch. He's special. That's the nicest way to put it. We've gone 7-on-7s and he stands out. He's not going to woe you with speed. But man, you throw it up to him, he's a cheat code, as the kids say. He's special, and I'm excited that he's only a junior. So we'll see what he can do for 2 more years. But I think you're going to hear that name a lot in the future. And then one kid I just want to he stands out to me because he's a leader. He's our prayer guy at the end of practice every day. Hamilton Hudson, great kid. And he's actually, I think they said he's put on about 25 pounds of muscle since last year. And,
wow.
He's a tough, hard-working kid that I wanted to kind of mention as well.
Perfect. Coach, I'm taking notes over here. What was the receiver's name again? Make sure I get that one down for you.
I didn't even say it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's Aiden Wagner.
Aiden Wagner. Perfect. I got him. We're excited to see what you guys have this year, Coach. Should be a lot of fun. A lot of times in these smaller schools and in 1A like you've been at and at Skeeson now, spring practice is kind of tough because you got kids playing so many different sports. And it's hard to get a lot of guys out there. So you don't really get your hands on them really until maybe summertime. Mm-hmm. But, in that period you've had so far, what have you really learned about this group? What makes you excited for this year's version of the Warriors?
A lot. But one thing, the first thing I said to him when I spoke with him is, in a sort of our motto, I literally say it at the end of every practice, is how bad do you want it? That's all I say. And the first time I met him, I explained how bad I wanted it, and we kind of have people coming throughout the year that are going to come explain that to him. And it sounds so broad when you say it like that, but it's sort of our culture. And what I'm saying is these kids are showing me how bad they want it. We've made practice hard. We've pushed them to limits they haven't been to, at least since they've played football, and they're so receptive to it. They're willing to do about anything we ask them to do, and they're well-mannered while they do it. But they, I think that's the main thing I'm excited about, is just seeing, how far they're willing to go to be successful, and just how bad they want it. And because that really reflects their attitude and their effort and their accountability. Because, for instance, I challenged them with the summer weights. Accountability is a big part of it. I think every kid has been there as much as possible, unless they've had to go on vacation. Like, we have had such success this year already in the weight room, just the kids being there. Accountability has been huge, and it's really showing with how much they've grown just since I've known them. And, like I said, that they're just willing to go and above and beyond because they want to be good at football, and you can see it.
Coach, you've mentioned it. I mean, you've talked about, how this group so far has really just worked hard this offseason. You also mentioned like the administration and how they're just, hungry for a winner, and that community's hungry for a winner. But, a part of this is you kind of building your programming in your image. So what is something like when you walk through the door and you're like, hey, I'm taking over, what is something that you were like, hey, I identified that I really want to change it and really put my stamp on this?
with that, I think just kind of what I'm talking about, just how bad you want it. I'm a big showing it by example guy. So I can't preach it and not do it. So if I'm going to tell them I want it bad, I need to be the first person there every day. And I will be. And if it's not, it's one of my coaches. He'll barely beat me, but it's okay. But, you know, I think just leading by example is kind of the main answer to that. You know, I want to be the first one out there. I want to show them, you know, how important my family is to me. You know, my son has already been around so much, and he plays hard to get. The kids try to give him fives, and he makes it hard for him. But they know my son. They're big into my family already, and my coaches' families are around as much as possible. And I think that showing them that culture and how bad my coaches want it is really that stamp I want to give to the kids to help them grow in faith and as a student and as a player and, so on.
Founders Federal Credit Union means banking made for you. The on the go, the pick up and go, and the I want to go. Because at Founders, we give you the financial tools that make every dollar work for you. For the little things to the big things. For your future and your peace of mind. We'll always stay grounded in our roots, but reaching beyond what you'd expect is where we'll always go. Find out what our members already know and enjoy a new way to bank. Relax. You're with Founders.
All right, Coach, a couple easier ones before we let you go today. Maybe it's on the bus to an away game, maybe in your office for a home game on Fridays, but what's on your playlist as you get ready to take the field on Friday nights? What are you listening to get ready for the games?
Man, I'm a jack of all trades. I listen to about anything. It really just depends on how good the day's been, I guess. I'm a big country guy, obviously. But if I've had a bad day, there's no telling. It might be rock and roll. It might be some old school rap. I don't know. But definitely probably some Morgan Wallen to calm me down a little bit just to get ready and get focused and kind of ease my mind a little bit, calm the anxiety down.
All right. That one works. That's Kevin's favorite. He's a big country guy as well. So
sure,
if he's not doing this, he's at a concert somewhere. So, but Coach, if you've watched us, this question's coming. We're going to ask you about some food. So if we're coming to that Spartanburg area, not too far away from us, this one's going to be tough because Kevin's over in that area as well. So he might have the jump on these restaurants. Where should we go get some food over there?
I think I'm going to turn this around on y'all.
I
think I'm going to ask for y'all's answer because I need it. I need y'all's answer to it so I can figure out.
I'll tell you, man. Spartanburg's it's a lot of options. The best burger for me is Ike's. Great burger there at Ike's Corner Grill. If you want to go more like a meat and three kind of Southern style, something like a Wade's. Wade's is really good. Man, trying to think what else I like over there. Bubba's. Barbecue Bash, a little barbecue spot. Man, Jerel, what do you like over there? I'm trying to think what else is on my list.
I'm just kidding. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm from Greenville County, so we don't really cross over there too much. We're kind of bougie in Greenville, so I know that's a part of your territory. You spend a lot of time over there, but unless I'm going to a game, I don't spend a lot of time in Spartanburg. So I'm kind of miffed as well. I got Beacon. Is that one? Can I throw that one out there?
Beacon's good.
Beacon out there? Just call it.
I mean, you got to go at least once. It's good for you. One time.
But I can't. We've gone to Burns. We've done Ike's. I can stamp Ike's as well. That's a good spot. Check that one out, Coach. And I love the fact that you just threw it on us. That is fantastic. So
that was my way of saying I haven't been many places.
Clever though. I respect it. It's clever.
Oh man. Last one for you, Coach. I know it's still kind of early, but what are some goals you have set for the 2026 season for this group?
I think just growing. I think, seeing production that they haven't seen before. I'm not really worried about the wins and losses quite yet. Culture needs to establish itself, and it's something that's going to take some time. But I think just everybody buying in and sort of just seeing that camaraderie and sort of just building that foundation this year is sort of step one of what we're trying to do.
Well, this has been great. I want everyone to go follow Coach Theus and the Warriors program on social media. They do a great job posting updates on their kids and their program. Certainly check them out on there. Like I mentioned, follow us on all social media, our website, movingthechains.com, and our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. Moving the Chains is brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Jerel, any else for Coach Let him go today?
Well, Coach, thank you so much, first of all, for your time today and, letting us know about you, letting us know about your plans for the future. This program, again, this isn't one that we've been able to highlight much, so it's always good to kind of, get to know a little bit more. And I always love to highlight, private schools, SCISA schools. Kevin being a SCISA grad as well. I know he's tickled to death doing this one. So we really wish you guys continued, success. Hope you stay healthy this off season and into the season. And when you guys, when toe meets leather, I know your guys are going to be prepared. So best of luck to you this year, Coach.
Thanks, man. I really do appreciate y'all getting me on here.
We appreciate it, Coach. Look forward to stopping by our practice game. Get to see you again here soon, and best of luck, all right?
All right, have a good one.
Get ready for the ultimate South Carolina high school football experience with Movin The Chains. From previews to recaps, we've got you covered. Dive into our expert preview shows, predicting winners and sharing insights. Then join us post-game for the thrilling recaps, exclusive interviews, and highlights you won't find anywhere else. Plus, connect with fellow fans on our Friday night spaces on Twitter/X. No one covers South Carolina high school football like us. Join us at Movin Chains on all social media platforms and visit movinchains.com today.